Port Florida. It's the Braves and the Phillies in Grapefruit League action. It'll be Chris Sale on the mound for the Braves, making his second Grapefruit League outing, and he faces Connor Brogdon and the Phillies. Great to have you with us. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday, and glad to have you with us on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network. Alongside Darren O'Day and our producer-engineer Jonathan Chadwick, Ben Ingram here with you. Should be a good crowd today. Sunny, clear skies, and Chris Sale on the mound. And Darren, that's going to be a lot of fun. Second time we've seen him this spring. That last outing looked very sharp. Looking forward to more of that today.
Yeah, I don't know how you top that first outing, Ben. 2 innings, 4 punchies up there against the Pirates. So, yeah, we'll look to see Chris probably go about 3 innings and maybe work his changeup in a little bit today.
Oh, and he'll face a lineup that originally we thought would be some regulars for the Phillies. That's changed. We had a lineup change from them about 10 minutes ago. New pitcher, new shortstop, new second baseman. It might be a little bit of a virus going around over there because not too many of the regulars are in this lineup.
Yeah, it looks could have announced them as the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs today, Ben. A lot of subs in there. Yeah, it's not an uncommon thing this time of year for a stomach bug to get passed around. A lot of guys haven't been around each other all year, and now everybody's kids are mixing up, and it's a good thing they're wearing their gray pants today, Ben.
Be a bad day for the white ones, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
They probably wouldn't mind being members of the San Diego Padres today. Well, we'll take more on that pitching matchup. It'll be Connor Brogdon and Chris Sale. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network. Well, this is the second and final meeting between these two teams this spring. We just saw the Phillies a few days ago. In fact, these two teams played to a 7-7 tie in Clearwater on Thursday. And after today, we won't see them again until opening day as the Braves start the season with 3 games in Philadelphia. And I'd imagine, Darren, if you asked both of these teams, they'd prefer it that way. You don't want to see too much of each other during the Grapefruit League.
Right, yeah, it's kind of a cat and mouse game. You know, it used to be, I was told, hey, don't show the hitters you're going to face during the year how you're going to try to get them out. So you'd go out there and throw pitches that you didn't even have because results don't matter as much here as they do when you go north.
That's right. Well, when we come back, I'll introduce you to who is in the starting 9 for both teams. It's great to have you with us. Going to have a little 9-inning vacation, Grapefruit League style. Great to have you with us. Lineups and first pitch when we come back on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network. Just about ready for the first pitch of the game. 81 degrees here at the ballpark. Just had a great rendition of the national anthem from Myrtle Hurdle, and she did a beautiful job. Should be a big crowd today and a perfect day for baseball. Lineup cards being exchanged right now at home plate. And the Phillies will lead things off with the center fielder, Johan Rojas. Batting second, first baseman Alec Bohm. Batting third, third baseman Edmundo Sosa. Batting cleanup for Philadelphia, shortstop Weston Wilson. Hitting fifth, catcher Garrett Stubbs. Batting sixth, designated hitter Christian Pache. Batting seventh, right fielder Jake Cave. Batting eighth, left fielder David Dahl. Batting ninth, second baseman Nick Podkul. And on the mound for the Phillies, right-hander Connor Brogdon. So again, for Rob Thompson's Phillies, who come with a record of 4-2-3 this spring, Rojas, Bohm, Sosa, Wilson, Stubbs, Pache, Cave, Dahl, Podkul, and Brogdon on the mound. Now for the Braves, managed by Brian Snitker. Braves with 4 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie. That 1 tie was to the Phillies earlier this week. And the Braves lead it off today with their center fielder, Michael Harris. Batting second, second baseman, Ozzie Albies. Batting third, third baseman, Austin Riley. Hitting cleanup for the Braves, first baseman, Matt Olson. Batting fifth, designated hitter, Marcelo Zuna. Batting sixth, left fielder, Jared Kelnick. Batting eighth, shortstop, Orlando Arcia. Batting eighth, right fielder Forrest Wall. Batting ninth, catcher Chadwick Trump. And on the mound, the left-hander Chris Sale. So again for the Braves, Harris, Albies, Riley, Olson, Ozuna, Kelnick, Arcia, Wall, Trump, and Sale on the mound. Braves will be taking the field in their navy uniform tops, white pants, red lettering, red numerals outlined in white, Atlanta across the chest on top of the tomahawk. And the Phillies will be taking the field in their gray uniform tops, gray pants, red lettering, red numerals outlined in white, and Phillies across the chest of their gray uniforms. Behind the plate calling balls and strikes, it's John Libka. And on the bases, Chad Fairchild, Jensen Visconti, and Jeremy Rehak, umpires in their black tops and gray trousers. Sun is out, little light breeze from right to left out towards that berm in left field. Wind not near as fierce as what we can see sometimes here at Cool Today Park, but a very nice day. And the Braves take the field behind Chris Sale. So again, this is the second time we have seen Chris this spring. 34-year-old left-hander. He'll be 35 at the end of the month. He's a Florida boy out of Lakeland. Big, tall, lean lefty, 6'6", 180. Coming off a season in Boston that saw him go 6-5 with a 4.30 ERA. That was through 20 starts. Reached 100 innings last year, and a guy who's been dinged up a lot over the last few seasons. But the most important thing for him, Darren, is he is healthy, and he looked very healthy that last outing.
He sure did. After, plowing through all those injuries, just to be able to be healthy and play baseball and be a part of a good team like this, it's got to be really exciting for him. So it just frees him up to go out there and do what he's best at.
And he'll be facing Rojas, Bohm, and Sosa here in the top of the first inning. Braves have this ball game today, right back out on the road tomorrow, as the Braves will head down to Fort Myers to see the Twins and start up a brand new week. Getting closer and closer to opening day. That is 25 days from today. And it'll be these two teams, Braves and the Phillies, up in Philadelphia. That'll be a 3-game series for the Braves. And then they head to Chicago to see the White Sox to start up the first road trip of the year. Here's the leather for Atlanta. Matt Olson at first base. Ozzie Albies at second. Orlando Arcia is at short. Austin Riley is at third base. In the outfield left to right, it is Jared Kelnick, Michael Harris, and Forrest Wall. Chadwick Trump is behind the plate, and Chris Sale is on the mound. So again, this is the final meeting between these two teams this spring. Phillies have played about as many ties as anything. 4 wins, 2 losses, and 3 ties this spring. And for the Braves, 4 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie against the Phillies, which was on Thursday. Johan Rojas checking in. The top of the order for the Phillies is as we expected it to be, 1 through 3, with the original lineup that was provided earlier this morning. But as we mentioned a moment ago, a late change. About 20 minutes ago, they shuffled everything from 4 through 9 in the order, and maybe a stomach bug or something going around the Phillies. But they have fielded 9 today, and we'll introduce you further to them as they come to the plate. Chris Sale, the left-hander, ready to work versus Johan Rojas. Sale looking into his catcher Chadwick Trump, trying to get comfortable. He's ready, and now for the ball game. The first pitch is outside. 81 degrees, and starting at 1:06 Eastern Time. Lefty Sale swivels and fires. There's a good pitch in for a called strike and a 1-1 count. For Sale, that last outing, 2 innings, no runs, no hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts. That was versus Pittsburgh. Breaking ball in for a called strike. Slowed that down, and a 1-2 count on Rojas.
Yeah, we know about Chris Sale and that nasty slider, but what I was most excited about his last start was he was bumping 97.
1-2 pitch, miss low and outside.
Yeah, he wasn't pitching at 97, but when he needed it, he had it in the tank to reach back and say, "Hey, old goat still got it."
That looks good any time of the year, but especially in February.
Yes.
Ready with a 2-2. Southpaw deals. And that's squibbed foul. 95 on the fastball there. And I think when you see a reading like that with a heater, 95, 96, 97, any questions you may have had about his health are answered right there, aren't they?
Right. Yeah, to be able to bring that, this early in spring, as we talked about yesterday, it shows you worked this offseason. He's hungry. He wants to be healthy this year, so I'm sure he's made some adjustments to his offseason program.
2-2 to Rojas. Fastball high and outside. Sale digging around in his landing spot. He stands on the third base side of the rubber. Deep inhale and exhale. And the 3-2 to Rojas. Got him swinging. Came right at him with gas. A 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Climbed the ladder. And strikeout number 1 today for Chris Sale.
Yeah, Chris is, you know about the stuff. You know about the deception, the elbows and the feet, and all sorts of things flying everywhere. But what impresses me the most about him is that with all those moving parts in his delivery, he can still command the baseball as well as he does.
Facing Alec Boehm now. Boehm lines one out past a leaping Ozzie Albies and a base hit into center field. Ozzie had him played to the right side. He was shaded up the middle, and he was right there, but just out of his reach. And it's a one-out single for Alec Boehm, who continues his sharp spring. That brings Edmundo Sosa up to the plate. Phillies today have Sosa playing third base and Boehm at first. It's usually Boehm at third base, but Sosa, when he plays, can play on the left side of the infield. Sosa, right-handed hitting third baseman. First pitch on the way. That's in for a called strike. Mention that Chris Sale is from Lakeland, Florida. Played his college ball at Florida Gulf Coast down in Fort Myers. Former 13th overall selection in 2010. What a career he's put together. 0-1 from Sale. There's a fly ball to deep left. Jared Kelenic sprinting over towards foul ground. And Kelenic onto the warning track makes the catch. Tagging from first base Boehm. Throw will be triggered in. And Boehm is down at second base standing. Well, the wind is blowing that way, and if that ball had been hit a couple of days ago, maybe it gets out of here, but not quite windy enough to push it out of here.
Yeah, that slider just got in on his hands, and he just wasn't able to get the barrel to it. Nice pitch, quick out there. Way to come back from the single up the middle by Boehm.
Bat in the hands of Weston Wilson, who's the shortstop today. Weston Wilson, right-handed hitter. No score in the top of the first. Wilson takes a called strike. In the original lineup, Weston Wilson was at second base. This guy stands 6'3", about 240. Would have been about the biggest second baseman you've ever seen. Well, they move him to the left side of the infield with some of the late changes they've had to their lineup. 0-1 to Wilson. A little bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, I said in the pregame show it's not all that uncommon this time of year. What I meant to say is that a lot of the guys have kids. These kids go to different schools in different regions, and then you bring your kids' viruses to spring. So, and everybody meets, you're in close quarters, you're eating together, you're together all day, so inevitably it's going to get passed around the clubhouse.
That makes sense. 1-1, time called, and the pitch was thrown to the backstop by Sale. That was a late time granted by John Libka. I don't think Sale was too happy about that.
I love that, Ben. He's got I just love his mentality. I think that's something that he's going to bring to this team, is that a little bit of edge. He's a little rough around the edges in a good way.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
I think you look at his makeup and who he is and say a welcome addition to that clubhouse. Here's the 2-1 pitch on the way to Weston Wilson. Backdoor breaking ball misses and a 3-1 count.
Yeah, his comments the other day about give me the ball. You want me to start? You want me to relieve? Whenever you want me to pitch, I'll pitch. I love that, and that's going to rub off on the rest of the guys in this pitching staff. You can't help it with his his career resume that he's been carrying around.
3-1 from Sale, fouled back. 97 with a fastball. Yeah, and I'm sure you can attest to this. If I'm in that clubhouse, I love hearing that. If I'm his teammate, I love hearing that.
For sure. Yeah, and I can envision Chris making Spencer a better pitcher and Max a better pitcher. I don't know about Charlie. Charlie's pretty old. It's an old dog to learn some new tricks, but yeah, Chris is going to make everybody around him better.
It's 3-2 to Wilson. Tapped foul. Just reached out and got a piece of it. And it's great to hear those comments any time of the year, but I think it's tremendous to hear them early in spring training.
Mm-hmm.
Full day's rest, 3 days rest, bullpen, starter, whatever. You want me to pitch, give me the ball.
Yeah. I got a chance to talk to him the other day. He said he's already bought a house in Atlanta. He's so excited about the change of scenery. It's got to be good to get out of Boston, especially after those injury-riddled years.
Payoff pitch, line down the right field line and foul, slicing into the seats for a souvenir. Yeah, how could you not be thrilled about coming to Atlanta and being a part of this?
Right.
No score, top of the first inning. Inning has gone strikeout, single, fly out with a runner advancing to second. Bohm, the runner at second, 2 down on a 3-2 count on the cleanup hitter, Weston Wilson. Sale looking to put him away. And again, the payoff pitch. Missed high, ball 4. Fastball 96. And the 2-out walk extends the inning now for Garrett Stubbs. For Sale in his career, 7 times an All-Star. He's been top 5 in Cy Young voting 6 times. And he's closing in on 2,200 career strikeouts. He's 11 strikeouts away from that total. Garrett Stubbs. First pitch curveball in for a called strike. Just flipped it in there on the inside corner.
I think it's fitting that Garrett Stubbs is 5'10", which is average height, but in a locker room, that's going to be probably the shortest player on the team.
Yeah. Last name Stubbs. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Chopped off the plate, foul. Sale bouncing back after the walk to get ahead 0-2 on Stubbs. Should he reach, Christian Pache would come to the plate. But Sale trying to put him away right here. Left on left matchup. Sale versus Stubbs. Wilson a lead at first. Bohm same down at second. Sale's 0-2. Bye-bye. Swung on, missed. 96 with a fastball perfectly placed. And he just peeled apart Garrett Stubbs. So Sale bookends the first inning with strikeouts. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. Into the bottom of the first inning we go. Phillies nothing. And the Braves coming up when we come back. Alongside Darren O'Day, Ben Ingram here with you from Cool Today Park in Northport, Florida. Braves of the Phillies scoreless into the bottom of the first inning. Michael Harris swings at the first pitch that he sees and pops it up on the infield. Weston Wilson, the shortstop, back of second base, staggering to his left, making the catch. And one down. The leather for Philadelphia has Alec Boehm at first base, Nick Podkul at second. Weston Wilson, the shortstop, and Edmundo Sosa at third base. For the Phillies in the outfield, David Dahl is in left, Johan Rojas patrolling center, Jake Cave mans right field. Garrett Stubbs behind the plate, and on the mound, Connor Brogdon. Tall, lean righty, misses outside Ozzie Albies. Well, we got some tall, lean pitchers today, don't we?
I don't think any crows would be flying around the field today.
Couple of scarecrows on the mound. What a pitch. That'll miss up and in.
Brogdon's listed at, he's absolutely jacked compared to our guy. He's 6'6", 205. Chris Sale weighs in 6'6", 180. Gone.
Yeah, those crows going to stay clear. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Ozzie takes one outside. Yeah, originally they had Christopher Sanchez scheduled to pitch today, the left-hander. But he, like multiple other members of this Phillies lineup, coming down with some sort of a stomach bug or something, you'd imagine. As late in the final hour leading up to the game, they had some changes. Half the lineup had to come out. Ozzie takes ball 4. There's a one-out walk. But for Connor Brogdon, he's getting an opportunity to do something that he doesn't do a whole lot of, and that's start a ball game.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. Right before the game, you know, Chris Sale's out there 30 minutes before his start, warming up, stretching, long tossing. And we saw Brogdon just ambling out to the bullpen right before the anthem. Because he's a reliever and he only takes, you know, a couple minutes to get hot.
Austin Riley swings and misses. Yeah, last year for Brogdon, 2-1 with a 4.03 ERA. That was in 27 appearances. 26 of those as a reliever. This would be his 5th season in the big leagues. He's been with the Phillies his entire big league career. 0-1 to Riley, hit in the air, slicing towards right field, may drop in, it will. Just inside the foul line, and now bobbled by Jake Cave, but he recovers in time, and the runners stay put. So a walk to Ozzie, a single by Austin Riley, and here comes Matt Olson.
Yeah, Brogdon's a guy that this Braves lineup would be pretty familiar with. He filled kind of the early game relief, 6th, 7th inning, or he would throw late in the game when the Phillies were behind. He uses a really good changeup he's got. He throws it 43% of the time, actually more than he throws his heater. And it's a pretty good one. It's great arm speed. It's actually 12 miles an hour off his fastball, which is it's pretty exceptional. You're usually looking for something like 8 to 10 off your heater.
Mm-hmm.
His fastball is 95, and his changeup's 83.
Matt Olson takes one outside. So it's almost as if he uses the fastball as the change of speeds, given that he doesn't throw it as often as the changeup.
Right, and that would have been a sin in baseball, 30 years ago. But today, we're not afraid to use our off speed as our primary pitch.
1-0 to Matt Olson. He swings and pops one a mile high, left side of the infield. Drifting into left field now, Weston Wilson. Coming in behind him, David Dahl. And this carries to the left fielder in shallow left and 2 down.
And we talked about, the heavy changeup usage, the heater, and that was a cutter. Pretty good one. Just kind of rode and got it right on the top of Olson's barrel there.
Braves nothing, Phillies nothing. 2 down, bottom of the first inning. Phillies are threatening in the top of the first inning. Stranded runners at first and second. Now the Braves threatening. Also runners at first and second. Looking for a 2-out clutch knock from Marcell Ozuna. Marcell, 1 home run this spring. Hit 40 a year ago. First pitch to Ozuna. He swings and skies one to shallow center. Rojas coming in. Going out Wilson. And this will be the center fielder's ball. Johan Rojas gallops to it in shallow center. And that ends the bottom of the first inning. So the Braves had a few men on base but couldn't do anything with it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. We played 1. No score in Northport. Into the top of the second inning, alongside Darren O'Day and our producer-engineer Jonathan Chadwick. Ben Ingram here with you. Make it Pache, Cave, and Dahl. 6, 7, and 8 for the Phillies coming up here in the top of the second inning. Christian Pache, the DH today, former Brave. Pitch on the way to Pache, and it's in for a called strike. Pache, tall right-handed hitter, steadies the bat. 0-1 from the lefty Sale. That frisbee's over the outside corner for a called strike. 0-2 on Pache. Oh-2 pitch. Curveball, got him. Beautiful pitch. Right over the outside corner, locked up Pache. He barely took the bat off his shoulder. Third strikeout of the ball game for Chris Sale.
And that's one of the things that makes Sale so tough is that slider has such good horizontal movement on it. And he started that in the left-handed batter's box, and then I'm guessing his slider has somewhere between 15, 17 inches of horizontal break, and then it just breaks back at the last second, nicks the edge of the plate, and now you're walking back to the bench.
Here's Jake Cave. Fastball in for a called strike. And that pitch comes in so slow compared to your average slider, doesn't it?
That's what I was saying is that his pitch ability, his pitch IQ is so high he can add and subtract to all of his pitches.
Well, one fouled off. I don't know that people really understand how challenging that is to accomplish.
I couldn't do it. And we were talking to Paul Davis, the Braves minor league pitching coordinator, the other day, and just asking him about how to get guys to throw harder curveballs, softer curveballs, depending on what shape they want. And it's something I couldn't do in my whole career. I tried to slow my slider down a little bit, and I just never could.
0-2 and a little floater out towards center, and that'll drop in for a hit. Jake Cave able to get wood on that slider and just bloop it into center. And you see guys adding some track with a fastball and sometimes maybe even a changeup. When you're talking about sliders and curveballs and adding and subtracting to those pitches, that is really tough. And he's mastered it, Chris has.
Yeah. Yeah, it's might be a little bit of a lost art. I heard in his bullpen the other day he was sitting mid to high 80s and just dotting the catcher's mitt. The catcher didn't have to move his glove throughout the whole thing.
David Dahl, the batter. First pitch swung on, missed. Went to that slider there.
And then you contrast that with what is the kind of the pitching philosophy of today's game. Let's teach them to throw hard before we teach them to pitch. And so I would imagine there was a young guy a couple mounds over throwing absolute cheese, but spraying the ball over the place.
0-1, a wave and a miss. Bad swing by David Dahl. Sale making him look foolish, 0-2.
So you add all that, you add the stuff, the pitch IQ, the ability to add and subtract, and then you add that funky delivery where there's things flying everywhere, and it just makes it so hard to pick up the spin on the ball.
0-2 from Sale. Low and outside, Dahl laid off. Phillies have action in their bullpen as Junior Marte, the right-hander, is tossing. They'll likely go with him in the bottom of the inning. No score, top of the second. Runner at first, one down. Number 8 hitter David Dahl standing in the left-hand batter's box. 1-2 from Sale. Got him looking. My goodness, what a pitch. That's $1 million pitch right there. Right there at the knees to lock up Dahl. Strikeout number 4 for Chris Sale.
Ben, I think that's about $130 million pitch. Chris Sale's done well, as he obviously has earned that. One of the best pitchers of my generation. I always loved watching him pitch. And like you say, he's never won the Cy Young, but he's always right there in the running.
There's Nick Podgel batting 9th. Podgel takes the ball low. No runs, 2 hits for the Phillies. No runs, 1 hit for the Braves. Got a sellout crowd today on a Sunday afternoon. Great to have you with us on the radio. 1-0 on the way from Sale. Inside and low, 2 balls, no strikes.
Ben, we talked about how tall and svelte our starting pitchers were this game. Happened to check out Baseball Reference and see that some of Chris Sale's nicknames are the Condor, the Stick Man, and the one that I can't quite figure out, the Conductor.
See, the first 2 make some sense.
We'll have to get to the bottom of that.
There's a 2-0 pitch. In for a called strike, got the fastball over. Yeah, that one probably comes with a story where the other 2 come on appearance alone.
Right. And I'm wondering if it's, a train conductor, if he's an orchestra conductor.
That could be it.
I'll get back to you on that.
2-1 to Podkul. Inside, 3 balls and a strike. Honestly, what you threw out there in the first inning with Scarecrow is about as applicable as anything.
And just as you say that, I see 2 doves land on the protective net here. They probably got their eye on him.
3 balls and a strike on Nick Podkul. Runner at first, 2 down. As the Albies shaded up the middle. Sale kicks and fires. Missed inside with a fastball. One of that call doesn't get it. It's a 2-out walk. Down to second now for Jake Cave, and back to the top of the order to Johan Rojas.
Speaking of stadium bird life, it always amazes me when you go to those stadiums. San Francisco and Oakland stick out the most to me, where if you're playing a game at an abnormal time and the Seagulls move in, because they're used to coming in, right after the day game and eating all the popcorn and the leftovers from the fans.
Pitch to Johan Rojas, swing and a miss. That happened the other day in Clearwater.
Yeah, they just come in mass and they stare at you.
Bunch of gulls just swirling around over the ballpark late in the game.
Isn't it time for you to get out of here? I think it's because they're near the ocean, and the seagulls apparently are one of the smarter species of birds.
I believe it. 0-1 low and in. Check swing. They appeal, and he did go. 0-2. Yeah, they know what time that dinner bell rings. They're very much like us in that regard.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to the beach last week with my family up in North Florida, and my kids made the mistake of feeding these seagulls.
Oh, it's over at that point.
I said, hey, you got to beat it. I love you, but get out of here. I don't need them flying over my head the whole time.
No balls, 2 strikes on Johan Rojas. Chris Sale struck him out swinging back in the first inning. Way ahead here. 0-2 to Rojas. Inside with a fastball. 97 on the gun there. And a 1-2 count on Johan Rojas. Runners take their leads. Sale cuts it loose. And a chopper out to third, leaping and bobbling, and now securing it. Riley back to the bag. Takes it to third, gets the force out of the incoming runner, Jake Cave. And a nice job by Riley sticking with it. That just about squirted out of his glove, but able to play the carom, secure it, and get the out. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. We head to the bottom of the second, no score. In Northport, spring training home of the Braves. It's a scoreless ball game into the bottom of the second. Braves and the Phillies seeing each other for the second and final time this spring. And the next time we see them will be up at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia for opening day 2024. Just 25 days away. For the Braves here in the second, it's Kelenic, Arcia, and Wall. And a new hurler for the Phillies, right-hander Junior Marte, 6'2", 180. Seen him in the big leagues each of the last 2 seasons. Pitch on the way to Jared Kelenic. Adam is low.
Did you hear that walkout song, Ben?
That's some Johnny Cash, didn't he?
Yeah, was that Nose to the Grindstone? Or, no, it wasn't. That's Tyler Childers.
Tyler Childers. There's a 1-0 pitch. Not a miss inside. That was God's Gonna Cut You Down.
There it is.
Yeah.
Andrew Miller. That's it. Andrew Miller, left-handed reliever. Looked a bit like Chris Sale. One of my favorite teammates I ever played with. That was his walkout song. I always thought was one of the best in the league.
Yeah, that's a good one. Kelenic sends one down the first base line. Gloved by Alec Boehm. Underhand toss to the bag. Marte's there. And one down. Last season, Marte, 40 appearances out of the Phillies bullpen. Had a 1-1 record, an ERA just over 5.
Yeah, Kelenic just got a good look at that fastball. It's coming in pretty hot. It's averaging about 98 miles an hour over full season last year.
I know it's only the 10th spring training game, and for you've only been down here for, 3 or 4 of them. But what do you think about Kelenic to this point?
I think it's going to take him a little bit of time to kind of feel comfortable here.
Arcia sends one foul. That makes a lot of sense. Everything's brand new to you.
I was lucky enough. I switched teams a lot, and by the second or third time, you realize, hey, you're going to find your friends. You're going to be comfortable. But he's been with the Mariners his whole professional career, and now he's coming to a new team. Granted, he has probably less expectations to carry the team here. But it does take time to find your friends, find your buddies that you're going to go to dinner with, you're going to golf with, to feel comfortable in the clubhouse where you know everybody's name and you know where all the stuff is. So I think we just got to give him a little bit of time to get his feet under him.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Well, 1 sent foul. I mean, even your spring training's in a different place than what you're used to. As he was in Arizona.
Uh-huh.
And now spring training here in Florida.
Yeah, some extroverted guys can switch teams and have friends. And, by the end of my career, I had friends on most teams just from playing on those different squads. But that first transition is a tough one.
0-2, and Arcia takes the ball high. Phillies nothing, Braves nothing. Bottom of the second. Arcia waving that bat, waiting on the 1-2. Here it is, and he lays off, and the count even up 2-2. Heater 98 from Marte. Throws hard, but he last year threw his sinker and his slider more than he threw his four-seamer. Marte kicks and fires. 2-2 up at end, 3-2.
Yeah, as we mentioned the other day, Kelenic is younger than Strider and Anderson and has less, service time. So you add all that stuff up, and it might be a little adjustment period, like we saw with a guy like Matt Olson.
3-2, missed outside. Good eye by Arcia. A one-out walk. That brings Forrest Wall up to the plate. I think that's a good comparison because when you come from a place where you're a long way away and everything's brand new, it takes a moment. I think about Sean Murphy as well last year.
Yep.
You don't just jump right in and all of a sudden everything feels normal.
Yeah. I'll never forget the day Olson walked into the locker room, and to his credit, from day one, he was great.
Forrest Wall takes backdoor breaking ball for a strike.
Obviously, some pretty big shoes to fill there. Freddie Freeman, man in first base for so long for this franchise and will always be one of the franchise greats. So Matt stepped into an even tougher position there.
Mm-hmm. Well, Wall sends one foul.
And 2 years have gone by, and I'm not saying we forgot about Freddie. We still love him.
Mm-hmm.
But Matt's kind of put that to bed because
Yeah.
Matt's, his first year he might not have been as comfortable with everything. Second year he comes back. He knows where everything is. He knows everybody's name. He's got buddies. And you saw what happened to him last year.
Well, 2 to Wall. Hit the inside corner for a called third strike. 2 down here in the inning. I think what Matt Olson did over the last 2 seasons is really incredible. I don't think you could have handled that situation any better than he did. I think the way that he handled that and was able to, in his own mind, find a way to dial down that pressure that I'm sure any person would naturally put on themselves, because it's not just all that you mentioned. There's a called strike on Trop. but it's also coming back to your hometown.
Right.
On top of all that. And I think the way that he handled it was masterful. And then the season that he put forth last year was absolutely tremendous. 0-1, Tromp chops that one high off the plate, out to third, darting across the infield. Sosa gloves and fires and finishes off a very impressive play. That must have hopped about 30 feet up in the air off the edge of the plate, and Sosa makes the play. So the walk doesn't harm Marte. We head to the top of the third inning, no score. Chris Sale will be facing Bohm, Sosa, and Wilson here in the top of the third. Alongside Darren O'Day, Ben Ingram here with you. By the way, we had a person on Twitter tweet us the explanation for the conductor inquiry that you had, the nickname for Chris Sale, and it said because he punches tickets.
Gotta love that. He certainly does. Got some gaudy strikeout numbers over the course of his career. You mentioned he's over 2,000. I think that's a fitting nickname and probably one he likes a little more than the other two.
Yeah, I think so. That's a good one. Alec Bohm takes one outside. Yeah, you being a former pitcher, and once you heard that explanation of why one of his nicknames is the conductor, I thought you'd find that satisfying.
That's perfect.
1-0 on Bohm. He's had a really good spring, hitting .600. Takes ball outside. We saw Bohm on Thursday. Actually, that was Wednesday. I'm sorry. All the days run together down here. But Bohm had a home run in that ball game. It's his only home run of the spring. He's got a 2-0 count here. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Bohm with a vicious swing fouls one back. He was right on it in the 2-1 count.
Yeah, Bohm's a big dude. He's got a, I don't know if I would say it's a long swing, because that's not really doesn't have a positive connotation to it. He's obviously got a good swing. He's a big league regular. But if you can get in on his hands, it's usually have good success.
2-1 comebacker. That finds a hole. Base hit up the middle into center field. Bohm now 2 for 2. So he is now 4 for 6 this spring. Out to a good start. Yeah, you'd say, like you said, if you say somebody's got a long swing, that comes negatively usually. But when you stand up there 6'5", 218, everything looks long, doesn't it?
Yeah, big dude, but moves pretty smoothly. I think if you had to describe one word about his game, it's smooth, except maybe once in a while when he's fielding the ball at third base.
Mm-hmm. Edmundo Sosa to the plate, swings and sends one foul.
He famously got caught by the lip readers.
Yes, he did.
After he booted, he's had a rash of errors, and the Philly fans, the Philly faithful, were booing him. At least they weren't throwing batteries at him, and he got caught by the lip readers saying, "Man, I hate this place."
That's about as bad as it gets when it comes to having your lips read and put out there to the public. Sosa skies one towards right field over to his left Forest wall. Under it, makes the catch. One away here in the third inning.
Although, if he spent one game in the visitors' bullpen in Philly, he'd think third base was a cakewalk.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, most guys don't even step out of the bunker there until it's time to start pitching because they don't want to take the abuse.
And those people are right on top of you there in Philly, aren't they?
It's funny. It's a tiered bullpen, and the home team used to be on the top, but the Philly fans were abusing the home guys so much that they said, we want the bottom one away from the fans. So the team switched.
One down for Weston Wilson, and that comes inside and catches him in the foot. That slider overcooked just a little bit by Sale, so that'll put runners at first and second with one down. Of all the visiting bullpens you spent time in, was that the most vicious?
So at the beginning of my career, Philly was the worst, and they've actually toned it down a touch. I think Philly is kind of taking their fan security a little bit more serious. I think the worst one now is the New York Yankees. The bleacher creatures out there are relentless.
Just brutal, huh?
That's tough.
Garrett Stubbs, the batter, 0 for 1 with a strikeout. First pitch all the way to the backstop. That'll be a very wild pitch. Weston Wilson advances to second. Alec Boehm over to third base. Well, these last two sliders by Sale, one hit Weston Wilson, and that one sails behind Stubbs. Braves have Cody Whitley tossing in the bullpen. And now Sale wants new baseball. Deep inhale and exhale. Pitch on the way to the plate. Just missed the outside corner.
Sale did a nice job of stepping off the back of the mound there, which is tough to do with the pitch clock these days. And taking a breath, resetting. He even faked a pickoff move to third base so he could have a little more time.
Offering on the way, a swing and a miss by Stubbs. Two balls and a strike on Garrett Stubbs. No score, top of the third. Phillies have runners at second and third, only one out. Stubbs fouls one back. Got Wood on that fastball, but sent it back to the screen and a 2-2 count. Sale looking to do versus Stubbs what he did back in the first inning. Get a swing and a miss for strike three.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. He hasn't thrown a slider. Got back in the count. Went from 2-0 to 2-2 with two really good heaters. We'll see if he tries that slider again or he stays with the heater.
Leg kick in the 2-2. A reach and a miss. Went to that slider low and away. That was so far off the plate that it kicked up some chalk. Little plume of chalk came up into the air with a swinging bat of Stubbs going over the top of it. And that'll be the final batter of Sale's day. Able to dial up a good slider there, so two down. And now the Braves will be going to Cody Whitley looking for one more out.
Yeah, it was good to see him go back to that slider there. Sometimes if you lose the grip on a couple of them, you can get a little gun shy. But overall, a pretty good outing there. Not as clean as last time, but sometimes you're going to have to pitch through some traffic, which he did today, which is a good thing to get under your belt, this early in spring, is to have a little traffic and remember what it's like to pitch with guys on base and pitch out of your own jams.
Well, and I like how it finished, not just the result, but what he went to do it. You mentioned how you can lose your grip on that slider here and there, and he did that versus Wilson as well as Stubbs. But then to use that pitch, not just a good one, but get strike three with it versus the final batter that you face. I think that's a great way to finish.
Yeah, and that pitch was borderline unfair, too. I mean, It looked like a strike the whole way, and the last second, like you said, veered all the way out into the batter's box.
So this will be Cody Whitley looking for one out. Right-hander, 6'3", 220. He's from Mount Olive, North Carolina. Went to the University of Mount Olive. 29 years old. Whitley, to this point in spring training, has made one appearance, had a scoreless inning with a strikeout. And he's been with the Cardinals each of the last few seasons. In fact, he was in the big leagues with the Cardinals in 2020, 2021, and 2022. Whitley will be facing Christian Pache. Looks like everybody else, always in great shape. Phillies nothing, Braves nothing. Top of the third inning. Runners at second and third. Righty-righty matchup. Pitch on the way to Pache, and he'll foul one back.
It's a nice situation for Whitley. You know, a guy that's coming into the organization since last year and got some pretty good off-speed stuff, a slider, and a really good changeup. It's a good situation to show the coaches you're not afraid of these.
Pache requests time. It's not granted. Pitches a strike. You'll take that all day. Waited too long. And John Lipka, despite the request from Pache, didn't grant time. He was backing out of there, and the pitch came right down the pike for strike two. See if Whitley can strike him out. Way ahead 0-2. Whitley fires. Outside 1-2. Cody Whitley set right at the belly. Glanced to second. Leg kick in the 1-2. In the dirt. Couldn't get him to chase. Not a bad idea, though. 2-2. Big crowd today. Sellout crowd on a beautiful Sunday. 81 degrees here in Northport. Wish you could be here with us. It's a perfect day for baseball. Glad to have you on the radio, though. 2-2. Took something off, and he strikes out Pache swinging. Beautiful pitch. So the strikeouts get the Braves out of trouble there in the top of the third inning. No runs, one hit, no errors, two left. We head to the bottom of the third inning. Still a scoreless affair here at Cool Today Park. It's a scoreless ball game into the bottom of the third inning. Top of the order coming up for the Braves. This will be Harris, Albies, and Riley. New pitcher for the Phillies. Big, lean lefty, Taylor Lehman. Biggest guy we've seen out there today, which is really saying something on a day where we've seen Brogdon and Sale. Taylor Lehman, 6'8", 240 out of Penn State. Last season made it as far as AAA with the Phillies. He was at Lehigh Valley. Made 37 appearances there, went 5-0 with a 4.19 ERA.
You ever been to that Lehigh Valley Park?
Never.
It's a good one. Spent some time there doing some rehab stints. It's a cool experience.
Pitch on the way to Michael Harris. He swings and misses. Got to be a newer yard, I'm guessing.
Yeah, they do a nice job. In Lehigh's, it's kind of a cool little town. Yeah, they have a few different breweries in the park, some good food options. It's a good spot.
There's the 0-1 pitch on the way to Michael Harris. That'll be fouled back. That's their AAA ball club, and then their AA ball club in the Eastern League in Reading. And Lehman spent some time there as well last year. 0-2 to Michael Harris. Up and in, that got him. And Michael jogs down to first base, seemingly unfazed. Can you tell if that got him in the forearm?
Yeah, I think I got him in the meat of the forearm.
Came up and in, and right there on the forearm, and Michael seems to be just fine. So that's scary any time of the year, but especially down here. That's the last thing you want. Here's Ozzie. Not his best swing. Tried to hold up, couldn't.
Speaking of Lehigh Valley, last time I was there was, I think, August of 22. Bryce Harper was coming back from injury. I don't remember if it was from Tommy John or what, but he rolls into Lehigh to do a rehab appearance and is nice enough to buy post-game spread for both teams, not just his team. So Bryce bought me dinner.
0-1, a swing and a miss. That's a classy move.
And then I had to get him out the next night, and I thought, should I lay one in there for him? But
it's a way to butter up the pitchers. Not that he needs any help.
Yeah, he bought post-game spread for both teams for the whole series he was there.
No balls, 2 strikes on Ozzie. Ozzie hits one out to third to a knee. Sosa stabs it, goes to second. They get one there. Podkul over to first. That's double play. Just about ate up Edmundo Sosa. He was just a few inches away from dental work. Instead, turned it into a double play. Pretty impressive play. So now 2 down for Austin Riley. Braves have Aaron Bummer tossing in the bullpen, so we'll likely see him in the top of the 4th inning. No score, bottom of the 3rd. Riley 1 for 1 with a single. He'll take a called strike. And something that we've seen not just here, but a lot thus far, is Riley going to right field. And he does that very well, of course, during the season. We've seen him do it a lot in the last few seasons. But he's had a lot of success going that way here in the spring session. Takes the ball high.
Yeah, I saw a little comparison online of Riley's first 5 seasons against Chippers. It's tough not to compare the two because of the position they both played, but man, it stacks up pretty good.
Does it really?
Yeah, and not trying to put the pressure on Austin to be a Hall of Famer, but come on, let's go, dude.
There's a 1-1 pitch. Riley hits one out towards center. Johan Rojas coming in. That'll be caught by Rojas. Looked like he just got it off the end of the bat. And the Braves send the minimum to the plate in the bottom of the 3rd inning. We've completed 3. We head to the top of the 4th. No score.
To the top of the fourth inning. Next pitcher for the Braves will be Aaron Bummer. Probably one of the under-the-radar roster moves Alex Anthopoulos made this offseason, and one that I think could make some great contributions to this team. He's on for the second time this spring. We saw him against the Twins a few days ago. He earned a hold in that split squad day. Made some hitters look pretty silly with that big sweeping slider and that hard sinker in on their hands.
Yeah, it's exciting to see. And while it'll pay off to have him coming out of the bullpen regardless of the opponent, there's a pitch on the way to Jake Cave, a little bit low and outside. I think the opponent that comes to mind first in terms of him being a weapon is this team, the Phillies.
Yep. Yeah, those big lefty bats, Harper, Schwarber, Stott.
1-0 to Cave. Ground ball down the left field line, and that'll be extra bases for Jake Cave. Over to retrieve it, Jared Kelnick. And by the time he sends it in, Cave goes in feet first. And it's a leadoff double for the Phillies. Had his helmet fly off halfway between first and second. Cave now 2 for 2 in the game. And before Dahl checks in, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network. There's David Dahl, left-handed hitter. He'll take one inside. That last result, if you're a left-handed pitcher, has got to drive you crazy. Get the lefty stick of Cave. Third baseman's well off the bag, thinking he's going to at least shoot it up the middle, but likely pull. And Dahl loops one out to right field. Humpback liner down for a base hit. Getting a stop sign at third now, Cave. So it's a single by David Dahl. Cave goes second to third. Pretty good throw out of right field by Forrest Wall. And they're at the corners with no one out.
All right, so we just talked about him being tough on lefties, and we got two kind of cheap hits, just a shift beater ground ball to the left side for a double, and then a little jam job on a slider there that he just lifted into right. This is some good practice for the regular season. I keep talking about this, but as a pitcher here, you're thinking, all right, I need a punch out here and a ground ball. Two things he's pretty good at.
Here's Nick Podkul. First pitch in for a called strike. And I know that's going through any pitcher's mind, and I guess the next step is, okay, one pitch at a time. Just go execute. Podkul walked a couple innings ago, fouls one off here. 0-2.
And it's a unique presentation Aaron Bummer has, the low arm slot lefty. And it's unusual, but after facing Chris Sale, it might not be so unfamiliar. I don't guess he would be following Chris Sale too many times this season. And you likely see a righty in there before him. But similar approaches.
0-2, got him looking. Beautiful pitch on the inside corner. Oh, and there's phase one of your plan.
And that's, as you mature, you learn that. You say, okay, I'm in this situation. The third base coach made a very cautious hold on that single by Dahl. And now you got a chance to get a scoreless inning here with one ground ball to Orlando or Ozzie.
Here's Johan Rojas. First pitch in for a called strike.
Might be a tough turn here. Rojas runs extremely well. One of the fastest guys on the Phillies roster.
Runners at the corners, one down. No score, top of the fourth. 0-1 to Rojas. Low it outside, 1-1. Aaron Bummer out of Nebraska. Drafted by the Yankees out of high school, but did not sign. Went to play for the Cornhuskers. Coming over from the White Sox. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Taken off from first base. The ball rolled by Tromp now as David Dahl.
That was the old swing hit by pitch. Rojas took a hack at that back foot slider, and it was so good it hit him in the back foot.
And that sends Dahl back to first base.
I got one of those, Ben. Of all the things I did in my career, that got me more attention than anything.
Hitting batter on a swing and a miss?
Yeah, it was a strike three, third out of the inning. Tony Wolters got a little overexcited, swung at a slider in, and it ended up hitting him right where you don't want to get hit. And he just crumpled into a pile of pain in the batter's box.
That's really insult and injury right there, hand in hand, isn't it?
It's of all the things I did in my career, that got more attention than anything. So, and Gary Sanchez, who was catching at the time, didn't know what to do. So he picks the ball up in case it's a drop third strike, and he tags him on the back, and then he like taps him on the back like, "I'm sorry, bro." And he laid there for a while.
I don't blame him. 1-2 to ground ball to third, and it gets through Riley. That'll mean a run. Looked like it was going to be a tailor-made 5-4-3. Instead, it'll be an E5, and it's 1-0 Phillies here in the top of the fourth inning. Riley was in about even with a bag. That's exactly where he wanted it, but got a little bit tricky there at the end. So now first and second, one down. So a little bit more bad luck there for Bummer. Alec Boehm to the plate. He'll take a first pitch strike.
Yeah, that could have been an inning double play, and now he's got to face a tough righty in Boehm, a guy that's seeing the ball really well right now. This will be a good little test for him.
Bummer checking the runner at second base. 0-1 to the plate. A little bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, if you're Aaron looking at this inning, and I would say that this also includes the double by Cave and the single by Dahl, you've done about all you can do. Had some bad luck on those first 2 batters.
Mm-hmm.
And some bad luck with the E5 there. 1-1 is low, 2-1.
Get all the bad luck out of the way in the state of Florida instead of up in Georgia.
One nothing Phillies. 1 out, top of the fourth inning. Bummer's 2-1 pitch. Line drive up the middle. There's another base hit for Boehm. Coming around third base, Dahl. He'll score without a throw. First to third for Johan Rojas. Alec Boehm is now 3 for 3 in the ball game, and this RBI makes it 2-0 Phillies.
Yeah, that was hit pretty well, but Braves just can't seem to get him shifted properly up the middle. You know, he just keeps sneaking it right through the wickets out there.
Chadwick Trop, catcher, out there on the mound with Bummer. Braves battery discussing strategy. 1 down, top of the fourth inning, 2-0 Phillies. Edmundo Sosa, the batter. He has a couple of flyouts in the ball game, 1 to left, 1 to right. Little breeze out towards left field. High skies, lots of Florida sunshine. Perfect day for baseball. Sellout crowd on a Sunday afternoon. Aaron Bummer brings the pitch to Sosa. That finds its mark on the inside corner for a strike.
Ben, I just saw Ozzie go over to the shortstop side of second base and stand where Arcia was standing and kind of say, "Hey, man, why couldn't you catch that?" You're like, "Why don't you have any range?"
Just giving him grief even down here. That's Ozzie's game all the time, isn't it?
Yep.
0-1 missed the inside corner. We saw Chris Sale for 2 2/3 of an inning. No runs allowed by Chris. Had 5 strikeouts on his line. Here's a 1-1 from Bummer. Chop foul off the plate, 1-2. Saw Cody Whitley for a third of an inning, got a strikeout. Now Aaron Bummer, the third Braves hurler of the ball game. Rojas at third, Boehm at first. Bummer's 1-2. Got him looking. And breaking ball right off the table. Broke right into the zone for a called third strike and 2 down.
Yeah, much like Sale, Bummer's got some good horizontal movement on that breaking ball because of that low arm slot. And for my money, Ben, that's the prettiest pitch in the whole game is a backdoor breaking ball that just lands perfectly on the black of the plate.
He executed that beautifully. Weston Wilson takes fastball inside. 1 ball, no strikes. What we've seen here in the inning, when Bummer has needed to lock in and get a strikeout, not only has he done it, he's done it against a couple of right-handed batters.
Mm-hmm.
Lefty Bummer brings a 1-0 pitch. Touch low, 2 balls, no strikes. Phillies leading 2-0. They've out-hit the Braves 6-1. They have 3 hits here in the inning, also an error. Hitters count 2-0 to Wilson. Comes unraveled there. Swung on, missed at a 93-mile-an-hour fastball from Aaron Bummer.
And the movement on that fastball was so late and just straight down.
2-1 to the plate. Right at the bottom of the zone. Good pitch.
If you can throw a heater in the zone 2-0 and have the guy miss it by that much, that means that ball's dancing.
Where does he want to go here on 2-2?
Well, he got back in the count with the heater, so he can either go heater in again or he can try to flip that backdoor slider. And me personally, that's what I might try.
Yeah, worth a try, especially on a 2-2 count. Here it is. That'll be sent foul. That's the pitch that he went back to. Braves traded for Bummer in November. That was the deal that sent Michael Soroka, Jared Schuster, Nicky Lopez, Braden Shoemake, and Riley Goins the opposite way. And the lefty Bummer joining the Braves pen. 2-2 pitch. Grounded foul down the third base line.
I can't say that I know Weston Wilson's strike zone discipline all that well, but those backdoor sliders work especially well on guys with good plate discipline, guys that are willing to take a walk or want to work the strike zone because they see it start a foot out of the strike zone and just give up on it.
And then it comes right back in and shocks him. 2-2 and a soft ground ball to third. Riley's got it cleanly. His throw across the diamond is in time. Matt Olson had to reach up, bring it down, but that ends the top of the fourth inning. But 2 runs come across for the Phillies. First 2 runs of the ball game. 3 hits, an error, and 2 men left. Into the bottom of the fourth we go. 2-0 Philadelphia. Fourth inning alongside Darren O'Day, Ben Ingram here with you. Another new pitcher for the Phillies. This will be the right-hander Noah Skirrow, Skirrow. Noah Skirrow from Cambridge, Canada. Grew up in Canada, played collegiately at Liberty there in Lynchburg, Virginia. Right-hander deals to Matt Olson, and his first pitch in for a called strike. It is Olson, Ozuna, and Kelnick for the Braves here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Skirrow, the 4th pitcher used by the Phillies in the ball game. Pitch off the plate, 1 ball, 1 strike. Skirrow advanced to AAA Lehigh last year, made 24 appearances there, primarily a starter, as he started 14 of those 24 appearances there in AAA. 1-1 to Olson, hits the outside corner. Matt 0 for 1 with a fly out to left field. 2-0 Phillies here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Skiro brings it. And Olson takes the ball low. Matt Olson, big, tall first baseman, set the franchise record with homers in his campaign a year ago with 54 of them. Incredible year. 2-2. He comes unraveled there, swung on, missed. And one down here in the fourth inning. One down for Marcell Ozuna. Braves have Daysbel Hernandez up and tossing in the bullpen. Got to get the bats going, though. Only one base hit to this point. Ozuna takes a called strike.
Sometimes these bullpen days are tough on hitters. You know, the Phillies were firing a bunch of one-inning guys out there because Jonathan Sanchez, you know, got the stomach bug or whatever's going around Phillies clubhouse. And that could be a challenge to these hitters.
One to Ozuna. That's low and outside. And that's when you think about days in the regular season where there are bullpen games.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are some hitters that just roll their eyes thinking, here we go again. Because I got to get ready for 4, 5, 6 guys. 1-1 to Marcell. And he slugs one down the left field line. That's a base hit. Over to David Dahl. Marcell Ozuna, big turnaround first, heading for second base. Phillies send that to second base, and it's Tardy. One out double by Marcell Ozuna. That was clocked well. And the Braves have their first base hit since the first inning.
Yeah, it's good to see Ozuna getting off to a good start. You know, like I said, I mentioned before, you get off to a good start in spring training. You don't have to answer any questions about your performance. You can enjoy spring training. He's a guy that has gotten off to a couple slow starts in spring training in his career. I remember his first year with the Braves. We were wondering if the guy was ever going to get a hit in spring. He was grinding.
Bat in the hands of Jared Kelenic, trying to put the Braves on the board. Takes ball outside.
A guy that went 40 and 100 when you weren't expecting him, you know, the first couple of months of the season. You didn't know what was going to happen, if he was going to be part of the team. But, man, what a great season he had last year.
1-0 pitch. That's off the plate. He basically went 40 and 100 in 5 months.
It's wild, isn't it?
I mean, that first month of the season, it's almost as if he wasn't even in there. Got out to a very slow start. So to go from will he be on the team by Memorial Day to having a 4,100 campaign is unbelievable. 2-0 in for a strike.
I actually went to my first Major League game as a retired player in late April last season. Braves are facing the Marlins, Alcantara on the mound. I know Marcell had a tough game, and I'm sitting in the family section. And a couple boo birds came out and were giving him the business.
2-1 to Kelenic. Fouled back 2-2.
And like I said, I'm in the family section, so yeah, he grounds out weakly and starts getting booed, and his family jumps up and starts yelling at all the people booing.
Did they really?
I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, that's great.
You know, you pay your admission, you can do whatever you want at your stadium, but that is somebody's son, and she's going to jump up and let you know how she feels about it.
And he really turned it around. Time was requested by catcher Garrett Stubbs. All right, so a 2-2 count on Kelenic. 2-0 Phillies, bottom of the fourth. Kelenic looking for a base hit. Now time taken again. Garrett Stubbs out there to the mound and having a difficult time figuring out Skiro, his new pitcher. Good opportunity for Jared Kelenic right here. Looking to drive in the run, put the Braves on the board. After Kelenic, it'll be Arcia. Right-hander Skiro. All in his glove, right at his belly. Leg kick in the 2-2 pitch. Chop foul on the first base line. Do it again with a 2-2 count on Jared Kelenic.
And I remember people were calling for Marcell to be let go. And if they don't have the faith in him, who knows what kind of season Michael Harris II has last year.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's a ball low to Jared Kelenic.
You know, Michael came out and publicly stated that a pep talk by Marcell kind of helped him, you know, get his head right and realize that he's too talented to be struggling like that. Every team needs a guy like that that's not afraid to come tell you what you don't want to hear.
3-2 fouled off. Yeah, there are multiple players who have talked about Marcel's impact on them individually, whether it be a film session or just a pep talk, and a really good teammate. Just by listening to these guys talk about him, I think that's the conclusion. I just think, well, man, really good teammate. Good guy to have in the clubhouse. Again, the 3-2, outside ball 4. So a double to Ozuna, a walk to Kelenic, and the Braves are in business with Orlando Arcia up to the plate with 2 on and 1 gone.
Marcel also speaks really good English, which sometimes in Major League Baseball the team can kind of be divided, Latino and American. And he's one of those guys that connects both sides. He not only speaks good English, but he's funny in 2 languages.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's a guy that kind of bridges that gap and gets everybody hanging out together. And you need guys like that on your team, too. So he brings a lot of things off the field, not just 40 and 100 on the field.
Pitch to Arcia. Called strike right across the letters. Yeah, that's a very important component, especially in baseball at the Major League level in 2024. Bringing guys together down there. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Arcia waves and misses. 0-2. Orlando walked back in the second inning. Got to climb out of a hole here. Down in the count, 0-2. Inning started with a strikeout to Olson. Ozuna doubled. Kelenic walked. Righty Skiro set at the belly. 0-2. Fouled back. Good cut by Arcia. He takes some big ones.
I've been so nice to Marcel thus far. One other thing he does that's really nice for his teammates is he gives them all of his money at the card table. He plays pretty fast and loose. So, you need guys like that on the team. Somebody's got to be that guy.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. That's popped up. Bottle rocket to left. Dahl coming in. Wilson going out. This is Dahl's ball. Left fielder's got it 2 down. So an important element of a team's clubhouse is guys that are terrible card players.
Okay, I wouldn't say terrible. He does do well.
Reckless
sometimes.
card player.
Reckless. That's not a bad one. Yeah, we spent a lot of time on that plane, so inevitably a card game breaks out. It's a lot of fun. My whole career I didn't play cards until the very end, and I'm kicking myself for not playing. It's really fun. You look forward to it, after that getaway day game ends.
Forrest Wall takes a ball inside. What was the game of choice usually?
Now we switched it up a lot. 3-5-7. Some teams play pluck. Kirby Yates loved playing Texas Hold'em.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fun times on there.
1-0 in for a called strike. 1-1. Well, I know that's important because even to this day, when Bud Black is in town, Joe never says my former teammate Bud Black. He says my card partner Bud Black.
That's awesome.
There's a 1-1 pitch inside.
In today's digital age, everybody has their iPad and their phone, or they can watch a movie on the plane. So to actually have a gathering point where guys have to talk to each other is probably the most important function of the card game, because not only the card players are talking, but guys gather around to watch, and you might get a big pot and everybody comes to see it. It's just a good way to get guys talking off the field.
2-1 to Wall, line drive, base hit past the diving Weston Wilson and into left center field. Ozuna comes to the plate, he'll score. Throw trickles across the infield from center field. And a nice job by Forrest Wall, putting the Braves on the board with a base hit to left center, and it's a 2-1 ball game. He continues his red-hot spring. He's had some good ABs.
Pads his lead, and not only we've been talking about Forrest Wall Triple Crown watch. He pads his league in RBIs in the Grapefruit League and in the Cactus League. I looked up yesterday. Forrest is also leading the Cactus League in the overall spring training Triple Crown and home runs and RBIs.
Man, that's great. Drives in one there, a 2-1 ball game. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Here's Chadwick Tromp, who himself has had a pretty good spring. Tromp takes a ball low. Tromp hitting .571 during the spring session, has a homer. You get a base hit here, you like your chances to tie the game. Kelenic down at second. Wall at first. Tromp swings viciously and misses. And a 1-1 count on the Braves catcher. Wall and Kelenic will be running on contact. Let's see if Tromp can provide some contact. 1-1 pitch. A little low and away. Both teams having some success here in the fourth inning. Phillies with 2 tallies in the top of the inning. Braves have thus far answered with 1 in the bottom of the inning. 2-1 to Tromp, and he hits one in the air to left field. David Dahl in his tracks to his left, freezes, makes the catch. And that ends the bottom of the fourth, but the Braves get one of those runs back. They do so on 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. We've completed 4. We head to the top of the 5th inning. Phillies 2, Braves 1.
After 1 inning from Aaron Bummer, Daysbel Hernandez takes the mound. See if he can hold the lead at 2-1 Philly. We saw Daysbel 4 games last year in Atlanta. Very intriguing fastball, especially. Throws absolute cheese. A guy that's firmly in the conversation to be one of the last members of the Braves bullpen. This is his 3rd appearance this spring, first time against the Phillies.
Yeah, hard-throwing right-hander. Facing Garrett Stubbs as he leads it off in the top of the 5th. Ball inside. Look, you have a guy with the stuff that Hernandez has, hard-throwing right-hander, and for the makeup of the bullpen right now, I think there's a spot for a guy like him, or at least a competition for maybe one more right-hander. Stubbs fouls one back, and with a strong spring, be interesting to see where he lands in that mix.
Yeah, and I'm curious to know, he didn't have any multi-inning appearances last season, but if he was able to throw 2 or 2+, I think that would give him an even better shot to fill out that bullpen.
Here's his 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Good stuff there. Fastball 96.
Yeah, especially early in the season when your pitchers might not be fully stretched out to 100+ pitches, you're going to need some length at the back end of that bullpen. The Braves are going to carry at least 1 long guy, and I wouldn't be shocked to see a second guy that is down there able to throw 2, possibly 3 innings.
Well, we've seen Daysbel Hernandez as a starter. You could see him mopping up some innings out of the bullpen. There's the 1-2 pitch. That's a little bit too tall. 2-2. 2 runs on 6 hits, no errors for the Phillies. 1 run, 3 hits, 1 error for the Braves. Hernandez relieving Bummer, who went 1 inning, giving up 2 runs, 1 earned on 3 hits, no walks and 2 Ks. 2-2, goodbye. Swung on, missed. Went back to the fastball, put it in a good place. And 1 down here in the 5th inning. That is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 9 strikeouts for Braves pitchers. We're only in the 5th inning.
The Atlanta Conductors.
Yeah, whole team of conductors punching
tickets, baby.
And Braves Express. There's the pitch on the way to Pache, and that's in for a called strike. 2-1 Phillies, top of the fifth. Pache 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts himself. That'll miss outside. Now that you're up here in the booth with us, especially this time of year, and you're watching everybody and evaluating, how different is it up here compared to what you're watching when you're out there in the bullpen?
You know, the first thing, most obvious thing, is a different view.
There's definitely a different view. Here's a 1-1 pitch fouled back.
And I've spoken to you about this before. I've spent so much time in my life standing on the mound or looking at things from behind the mound. That's my best way to evaluate a pitcher, which is unique because scouts always sit in the stands and can evaluate a pitcher from this angle.
1-2 to Pache. He gets him swinging for strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Hernandez.
So, for example, that was a pretty bad swing by Pache, who we know from his time as a Brave. And as soon as Daysbell let that ball go, I glanced over at the monitor because I want to see what that pitch is doing.
Yeah.
So that's how I evaluate pitchers. Here, evaluating hitters is not that hard because they're all really good.
Right.
Yeah.
2 down for Jake Cave. That'll be fouled off. See, here's what's interesting, because you being a former reliever, it makes sense for you to want to watch the monitor and see that same angle that you're used to with your eyes on the pitcher. Also, not that you can't keep your eyes on the pitcher if you're sitting in the stands and evaluate him from that angle, but also you might evaluate a pitcher just on the swings that he's getting from the batter.
Right.
And maybe learning more about the pitcher by watching to see what the batter ends up doing.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier to evaluate guys when they're playing somebody the same talent level. So big leaguers facing big leaguers. What I find very challenging is amateur scouting, and that's kind of like a dark art, and there's a few that are really good at it.
Here comes the 0-1 to Jay Cave. That squirts through Chadwick Trump to the backstop.
And if you're really good at it, you will never be without a job, because for me, that's the hardest thing to do in baseball is to find those diamonds in the rough that are high school kids. You know, Mike Trout didn't play much baseball in his life until he got to high school. So you're not going to be scouting New Jersey too hard.
1-1 line drive caught knee high by Austin Riley. So Cave lines out, and that's a 1-2-3 5th. We're halfway home. We head to the bottom of the inning. 2-1 Phillies. Fifth inning, alongside Darren O'Day and our producer-engineer Jonathan Chadwick. Ben Ingram here with you. Another new pitcher now for the Phillies. This will be the right-hander Brett Schulze. S-C-H-U-L-Z-E, pronounced Schulze. 6'2", 180-pound right-hander from the University of Minnesota. And a seventh-round choice of the Phillies in 2019. Schulze in Double-A and Triple-A last season, mostly in Double-A. First pitch to Michael Harris. That had some funk on it. Funny swing by Harris, and he missed it. 0-1. Top of the Braves order: Harris, Albies, and Riley, and currently trailing 2-1. There's the 0-1 from Schulz. That'll miss low and inside. This guy had a season in college. His final season at Minnesota went 9-0 with an ERA just over 2, and that was out of their bullpen. There's a 1-1 pitch on the way to Michael Harris. Touch the inside corner. Ball and 2 strikes now on Michael Harris. Righty-lefty matchup on the 1-2. Breaking ball a tad tall. And a 2-2 count. Been a fun spring for Michael Harris. Couple of homers, hitting .417. 0 for 1 today. Was hit by a pitch. There's a 2-2. In for a called third strike. Michael knew it. Good pitch by Schulz. One down here in the 5th inning. Just the 3rd strikeout by Braves batters in the ball game. To bring Ozzie up to the plate. Ozzie's been on once. He'll take a ball low. Ozzie walked back in the 1st inning. Hit into a 5-4-3 double play in the 3rd inning. See if he can get it going. Swinging it from the left side against the righty Schulz. 1-0 pitch, and he pokes one out to 3rd and caught by Edmundo Sosa. Soft little liner out there, 2 down. Well, baseball can be a really unpredictable and weird game. And part of that, sometimes you have very bizarre and dubious injuries. Hopefully none of those in the future for this pitcher, Brett Schulz. But there was a player several years ago named Don Schulz who had one of those bizarre and dubious injuries you've ever heard of. At least the reason why he was injured. Pitch on the way to Austin Riley in tight. Don Schulz was actually a pitcher in the Indians organization, Padres, Yankees, Cubs. And there was a moment in a game where he had his career stalled because of a injury that took place in between innings. That'll be swung on and missed. He was actually tackled in a game by the San Diego Chicken on the field and separated his shoulder.
Oh, my God.
It was in 1981. Don Schulz. There's a 1-1 pitch inside. That hit him. That grazed his thigh. And it's going to put Riley aboard with 2 down. I mean, you have enough injuries as it is playing.
Yeah.
Last thing you need is being tackled by the mascot.
That dang chicken. It's funny you say that. Growing up in Jacksonville, Florida, the AA affiliate, the Jacksonville Suns for the Dodgers was there. And I like to go play on the playground more than watch baseball. But, man, if the chicken was there, I was in my seat the whole game. I never got tackled by him, but.
That's a good thing. You might not have had a career. Matt Olson to the plate. Matt lifts one towards foul territory, 3rd base side. Sosa coming over. And he makes the catch right next to the tarp. So Matt flies out into foul ground, and that ends the bottom of the 5th inning. So no runs, no hits, no errors, and a man left. Braves have stranded 6 through 5. We head to the top of the 6th inning, 5-1 Phillies.
Score is 2-1, and after a tight inning of work by Daysbel Hernandez with 2 punch-outs and no hits, next on is Alex Jamal Minter, the man you know and love, become a fixture of the Braves bullpen over the last handful of years. Ben, we got some changes in the field, I believe.
Yes, we do. We'll get to him in just a moment. Here's David Dahl climbing in. First pitch from Minter, fouled back. Got a brand new battery altogether. New catcher is Tyler Tolvey. New first baseman Phillip Evans. New second baseman Andrew Velasquez. Here's the 0-1 from AJ. There's a bottle rocket way up there on the infield. Velasquez and Arcia both there. This is Velasquez's ball drifting into shallow center. And the pop out is out number 1 here in the top of the 6th inning. It's still Arcia at short, so he'll get one more AB before he comes out of there. David Fletcher is the new third baseman. Still have Wall and Kelnick in right and left, but a new center fielder, that's Isaiah Drake. So Drake in center, Fletcher at third, Velasquez at second, Evans at first, Tyler Tolvey behind the plate, and A.J. Minter on the mound. Got him. Thank you, JC. I can't even say his name. Pitch swung on and missed.
Yeah. Alex Jordan.
Alex Jordan Minter, yeah. What'd you say, Jamal?
I did.
That'd have a good ring to it. There's the 0-1 pitch. Hack and a miss by Nick Podkul. I got a question about A.J. Minter you might be able to answer. Here's the 0-2 to Nick Podkul. That'll be fouled off. Do you think he loves Texas A&M more than he hates University of Texas?
There's no doubt. You know, Texas A&M has some male cheerleaders that they call, I don't remember what it's like the midnight yell. They all go sit in the stadium and whoop together. Some silly stuff going on there.
0-2 fouled back.
And the way it's been explained to me, it's got a little stench of a cult to me.
Texas A&M does.
Yeah, just a little. Like the alumni will hire another Texas A&M alumni, even if they're not as qualified as the other candidates, is what I've been told.
Keeping it all in the family. 0-2 fouled back.
Yeah, he's Texas A&M through and through. He loves them. He's always keeping us up to date on what they're doing, whether we care or not.
Probably more not than that you do care.
Yeah, I think you guessed right there.
0-2 on Nick Podkul. Pitch on the way from Minter. Got him looking. Beautiful pitch. Fastball with the outside corner. 2 quick outs here in the 6th inning. Yeah, because you know he loves Texas A&M. I just think he might hate Texas more than anything. Because you'll hear the back and forth with A.J. and Bryce Elder.
Yeah.
Aggies and Horns. It's a great rivalry.
Yeah.
2 down for Johan Rojas. There's a bunt pushed back to the mound. Good job by Minter. Springs off the mound, gloves it. Nice athletic play. And he completes a 1-2-3 6th inning. And the former Aggie showing out right there. That's a solid inning. We head to the bottom of the 6th. It's a 2-1 lead for the Phillies.
Bottom 6 here at Coulter Day Park. Braves down 2-1 to the Phillies. 2 up, Marcell Ozuna, Jared Kelenic, and Orlando Arcia. They'll face Paxton Thompson, right-hander out of St. Michael's, Minnesota. He liked college so much, he went to 3 different ones.
His first pitch to Marcell. That'll be fouled off.
Bradley University, Peoria, Illinois. University of Mary in Bismarck, North Dakota, one of the 2 states Ben has not been to, I believe.
3 states.
3 states. And then to the UNC Charlotte.
I bet conditions were a lot better at UNC Charlotte than University of Mary or Bradley University. Hack and a miss by Ozuna, 0-2.
He spent last season in rookie ball and A ball, so big jump for him, facing some big dogs in the Braves lineup.
Changes all over the place for the Phillies. We'll start behind the plate. Cam Gallagher's the new catcher as he's in harness with Thompson. Former Brave farmhand Bryce Ball, big boy over there at first base. New second baseman Trevor Schwecke. Here's the 0-2 pitch on the way to Marcell Ozuna. Thompson cuts it loose. Ozuna fouls it off. We'll do it again with a 2 count. Eric Brito is the new shortstop, and Esteban Quiroz is the new third baseman. So left to right in the infield, Quiroz, Brito, Schwecke, and Ball. And then Gallagher behind the plate. Get to the outfield after this 0-2. Make it 0-3. Swung on and missed. Ozuna swings and misses. And 1 down. New left fielder is Baron Radcliffe, Georgia boy. New center fielder is Matt Kroon, Kroon. And the new right fielder is Cade Fergus. So that's Radcliffe, Kroon, and Fergus, left to right in the outfield. 2-1 Phillies, bottom of the 6th. Ball outside to Jared Kelenic.
What are those 3 states you haven't been to?
Alaska, Hawaii, and North Dakota. 3 very different places. There's a 1-0 pitch. Another hack and a miss by Kelenic. I'm thinking, if this works out right, I think I've got a week off over the All-Star break.
Nice.
And I'm thinking about checking Alaska off the list in mid-July, which would be terrific, because you don't want to go to Alaska in the off-season.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be quite as much fun.
That'd be frigid.
I've never been. I'd love to go as well.
And then got to mix in Hawaii. That'll be its own destination one day, but North Dakota would be the tough one. There's a 1-1 pitch. That'll miss up and in. 2 balls and a strike.
It's slipping my mind. The big biker rally.
Oh, that's in Sturgis. That's in South Dakota.
That's in South Dakota.
Been there. Not to the bike rally, but been to Sturgis.
You rode your hog over there?
Yeah. 2-1 swung on, missed. You think I'd stick out?
No, I think you'd look great in a bandana with skulls all over it, and leather head to toe. And I'm sure your jacket would be sleeveless, as it should.
Naturally. There's a 2-2 to Kelenic. High and away, 3-2. Yeah, South Dakota to me is a very underrated state. I think that's a gorgeous place. They're in Wyoming, 2 of the prettiest places I've ever been. There's a 3-2 to Kelenic. Off the plate, ball 4.
I agree with Wyoming. I've been there, played rookie ball there, and if you had played on my rookie ball team, you might not agree that it was one of the nicest states. There's a hotel in Cheyenne, Wyoming, that every rookie team stays in, and there's a lot of legends about it being haunted.
Oh, I love a good haunted road hotel. Ethan Workinger now pinch running for Kelenic.
Excuse me. It was a creepy spot. There was a full pool inside the hotel, covered in glass, in the hotel kind of lobby sort of area.
Orlando Arcia cracks one to deep left field. This has got a shot. Back to the wall. That is gone. A 2-run homer by Orlando Arcia. That was belted out of here. And the Braves take their first lead of the ball game.
Yeah, you said that one's got a chance. I think Orlando knew that one was gone as soon as it left his barrel. He stood there for a half a second to admire it. It's got to feel good to hit one like that.
And I can't say that I blame him. There is a lot to admire out of that one. Majestic homer to left field. Braves have a 3-2 lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning. That was his first home run this spring. Boy, that sounded good, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Forrest Wall fouls one back.
Got a home run and a walk today. Not a guy that takes too many walks, likes to swing his bat, so good day for him.
0-1 to Forrest Wall. Ground ball tapped out to second, taken on a series of bounces by Trevor Schwecke. And he throws over to first base for the out. 2 down. Put the bat in the hands of Tyler Tolvey. Comes on for Chadwick Tromp. Tolvey wearing number 82 this spring. See what he can do versus the right-hander Paxton Thompson. Thompson's pitch in for a called strike. Inning started with a strikeout of Ozuna, but since then, walk, homer, ground out. Oh, 1 outside, 1-1. Speaking of haunted hotels, did you ever buy into Milwaukee being haunted at the Pfister?
I did not, but I've heard multiple stories of guys running out of their rooms and alarm clocks turning on and lights being on.
There's a lot of stories.
There really are.
1-1 pitch, lifted towards foul territory. Brito, Quiroz in the neighborhood. And a sliding effort, and missing it now, Baron Radcliffe.
And the Pfister isn't doing too much to alleviate those haunted rumors by putting all those. It's got a real old school design, and it's got some paintings on the walls that seem to follow you with their eyes.
Yeah, they do, don't they? Especially that older side of the hotel.
Uh-huh.
I like that hotel.
There's some guys that just won't stay there. That and the Renaissance Vinoy in St. Pete.
Yeah, yep.
Which I believe was actually a Civil War hospital. So see the genesis of those haunted rumors there.
1-2 to Tovey, and he takes a called third strike. But the Braves go deep. A 2-run homer by Orlando Arcia. And the Braves lead for the first time in the ball game. We head to the top of the 7th. Braves 3, Phillies 2.
On to the top of the 7th here at Cooler Day Park after Orlando Arcia's majestic home run. Braves are up 3-2. Pierce Johnson comes into the game working his second time this spring. Pitched against Minnesota. Clean inning, 1 inning pitched, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. See if the man from Denver can get 3 more outs today.
Pierce Johnson could give you a skiing lesson, couldn't he?
I met his son. His son is named after Breckenridge, one of the ski towns out there.
They like the town so much they named their son Breckenridge?
That he and his wife spent a lot of time in Breckenridge.
Rice ball to the plate. There's a called strike. That's a great place to spend some time.
It really is.
Great skiing out there. 3-2 Braves, top of the 7th. A few other changes for the Braves we'll give you after this 0-1 pitch. Offering on the way. To miss high. This is Cam Gallagher up to the plate. This is the spot that Alec Bohm was hitting in the first baseman, and they brought in Bryce Ball at first, but they don't have the straight change all the way across. 1-1 to Gallagher, who came in to catch a few innings ago. Luke Waddell is the new shortstop for the Braves. He joins that infield with Fletcher, Velasquez, and Evans. Ethan Workinger remains in the ball game in left field. Still Isaiah Drake in center. Cade Kern, the new right fielder. 2-1 to Gallagher. Fouled off, and let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Braves Radio Network. Two balls, two strikes as Gallagher leads it off for the Phillies here in the top of the 7th. Pierce Johnson cuts it loose. That's popped up foul ground. Phillip Evans coming over in between the dugout and the first base line, makes the catch. One out here in the 7th inning.
Center fielder number 70, Matt Kroon.
Hope you're having a great Sunday. And if the temperature is cold where you are, I wish we could bottle up some of this warm air and send it your way, but know that spring is coming and hopefully warmer days right behind it. But either way, we appreciate you being out there. Alongside Darren O'Day, Ben Ingram here with you. Braves and the Phillies from Cool Today Park in Northport. Big swing and a miss from the third baseman Esteban Quiroz.
They don't have a headshot for him either, Ben. The scoreboard operator here having a little fun. They don't have a photo for somebody. They put up a picture related to the city.
The one outside. That looks delicious, doesn't it?
Yeah, when you think of Philly, you think of cheesesteaks.
Big Philly cheesesteak.
Look at that beautiful sandwich ruined by all that cheese sauce on there. You can tell I'm not a fan of that sauce.
There's a 1-1 pitch. Check swing. This is actually Kroon up to the plate. Quiroz is on deck. All these changes, none of them straight changes, so we'll get there eventually at spring training, so we're not all that worried about it. 3-2 lead for the Braves here in the 7th. 1-2 from Pierce Johnson in the dirt.
Yeah, Rob Thompson is making my quest to have a perfect scorebook very challenging today.
Brother, he's killing you. He's killing me. 2-2 on Matt Kroon. Took over in center field an inning ago. Pierce looking for the strikeout. And the 2-2 pitch on the way. Ground ball, big bouncer out to short, taken on the second bounce by Luke Waddell. And the throw across in just enough time. Good lean off the back of the bag by Phillip Evans to secure the out, and 2 down here in the 7th. Oh, it's Esteban Quiroz up to the plate. When it comes to the Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, I think the best one I've ever had, and I've sampled them from 3-4 different places, best one I've had is from the visitors' clubhouse by the clubbies in there at the ballpark.
I'm glad that you got to sample that one.
Man, they're good. Esteban Quiroz swings and fouls one off. And they don't have a picture for Quiroz, so who makes the video board? Rocky Balboa.
Rocky. Yeah, I'm glad you got to sample those cheesesteaks. They are delicious, man. There's some guys that really abuse that, and they eat cheesesteaks twice a day the whole trip there.
There's the 0-1 to Esteban Quiroz. That's outside, 1-1.
And, you know, texture, taste, perfect. My only complaint is you need a Gatorade as soon as you finish the thing. A little bit of sodium in them.
Just a touch. Righty-lefty matchup. 1-1 pitch, line drive into right field. Quiroz able to dump one out there. That's 2-out single for the Phillies to extend their inning.
Have you gone and jogged up the Rocky steps?
Oh, yeah.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
See, I look at them from the hotel room, and I say, that's a long walk.
I won't do it every trip, but
Yeah.
usually one of the trips there each year I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Rocky fan myself. I bet I've seen the Rocky series 100 times, easily.
Yeah.
No embellishment.
Okay.
I mean, that's all we watched.
That's impressive.
That and Rambo. I mean, it was all Stallone all the time at our house when we were kids. There's Trevor Schwecke. Takes a high strike. So the first time I went to Philly, I had to run the steps.
Yeah. One of the U.S. Mints is in Philly. I did that a couple years ago. That's a cool trip. Ben Franklin's grave is also in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty important guy, apparently.
No, Paul said
I
it's
heard.
right. If you enjoy electricity, pick off over to first base. Back in standing is Quiroz. Yeah, very historic city and a fun place to visit. Good food there for sure. Good ballpark. 0-1 to Schweicke, low and outside. As far as your stops here in the Grapefruit League, did you have any favorite stops down here? I feel like we talk all the time about regular season cities. Yeah. Did you have any favorite places that you'd play or spend some time in down here?
My favorite would have to be Sarasota.
1-1 popped up. We can get an explanation for that when we get to the bottom of the inning, assuming we're heading that way. Cade Kern is there, makes the catch in right, and that ends the top of the seventh. We'll pick up that when we come back. We head to the bottom of the seventh inning, 3-2 Braves. Tight ball game. Braves on top 3-2 into the bottom of the seventh inning. Alongside Darren O'Day, Ben Ingram here with you. New pitcher for the Phillies is Andrew Schultz. Yeah, they brought Brett Schultz and Andrew Schultz, and now we've seen them both. Schultz pitched a few innings ago. It's Schultz here, pitches high to Isaiah Drake. And Schultz is the seventh pitcher used by Rob Thompson in the ball game. Isaiah Drake, left-handed hitting center fielder. Takes ball high and outside. All right, so your favorite Grapefruit League stop, Sarasota.
Yeah.
Is that just because you had a house there?
That helps.
Pretty convenient for you.
It's just a good-sized city. It's not too big. It's not small.
1-1 in for a called strike.
And, we're sitting in Northport, which is just, 40 minutes down the road. I think in a few years, Northport will be what Sarasota was 5 years ago. It's growing so fast. You guys are staying in a brand new home that's just been thrown up since the Braves have been here.
Right.
They're throwing them all over the place.
Drake swings and misses at strike three. That was a pitch down in the dirt and one down here in the inning. Comparing Northport as it is now to what it was like when we came here for the very first time 5 years ago, it's an explosion.
Yeah, it really is.
It's amazing. I mean, the construction is all over the place. This place is exploding, and it's exciting. It's a great place to be. And you mentioned Sarasota being just 40 minutes north of us. I know lots of people who will stay in Sarasota and then come down here, and they'll check off, multiple spring training venues. Velasquez swings and misses. Because if you stay in Sarasota, you're in between Tampa and where we are. There's a ton of teams within an hour of you.
Yeah, I think Southwest Florida is a little slower paced life than Southeast Florida, and that's another reason I enjoy it. I enjoy being near the water.
The one in for a strike. Yeah, I like this coast. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah. I told you one time I rehabbed down here during the summer. I stayed down in Englewood Beach, which is just 15 minutes from the facility here at Northport, and I really, really enjoyed that. That's a cool beach out there.
0-2, rolled up the first base line. That'll be gloved right back to the bag by Bryce Ball. Puts his big left foot on the pillow, and 2 down here in the 7th inning.
They're all different. I enjoyed Orlando as well. You know, the facilities there weren't up to snuff of like they have here, but the kids loved Disney. I mean,
yeah,
we bought some passes and we hammered it every afternoon, and we really enjoyed it there too.
Yeah, think about all the ways that the Braves have advanced when it comes to this facility and how great it is. There's a ball low. As far as the amenities for the players, I mean, it's night and day going from where we were in Disney to here. I mean, what these guys have here now is as good as it gets. I mean, everything's state of the art, lots of space. There's a 1-0 to David Fletcher. In tight, backed him out of there.
Yeah, 2019, my first spring at Disney with the Braves. I remember, you know, after a hot day of practice, you like to come in and sit in a cold tank, and cold plunging is really all the rage right now. Everybody's becoming aware, but we've been doing that a long time for baseball.
Fletcher with a hot shot out to third, to the ground. Quiroz backhands up on his feet, throws over, skips the throw, but right into the glove of Bryce Ball. Has a nice stretch off the bag for a 1-2-3 inning.
And I caught Brian McCann sitting in an inflatable kiddie pool full of ice water.
That was the cold tub?
Yeah.
An inflatable pool?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much better now than it was then. We head to the top of the 8th, 3-2 Braves.
Next man up for the Braves, Joe Jimenez. He'll relieve Pierce Johnson with a tidy inning of one inning pitched, 1 hit, no runs. Joe's working for the second time this spring. Pitched on February 29th against Minnesota. 1 inning, 1 hit, looked pretty good. Joe's, no strikeouts that appearance. Joe's probably sniffing some punch-outs this time. Call himself the conductor, perhaps, afterwards. He'll face a familiar face, Christian Pache, first up.
Pache's been in there the entire ball game.
Getting some ABs.
He's been their DH today. Braves 3, Phillies 2, top of the 8th. Joe Jimenez blows one by Pache. Got an 0-1 count on Christian Pache. He'll be followed by the right fielder, Cade Fergus. Pache pokes one up the middle. There's his first base hit of the ball game. Really his first contact of the ball game. He had 3 straight strikeouts.
Yeah.
And now a single up the middle, and the Phillies have the tying run at first base. All right, this will be Brito and then Fergus. Figuring out this lineup that Rob Thompson has scrambled for us up there. That'll be outside.
Yeah, we thought he did us a solid by giving us the changes before the game. And then he pulled the rug out from under us.
1-0 from Jimenez. A little bit tall.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure about that one. That was a pretty good pitch. Got another cheesesteak on the board up there.
Yeah. Eric Brito being represented by a cheesesteak sandwich. Here's a 2-0 pitch. That'll miss high. 3 balls, no strikes. Sellout crowd here on a Sunday. 7,473 here at Cool Today Park. It's been a beautiful day, man. Just a great day to be at the ballpark. And great day to be coming at you on the radio. Had several of you tweet us pictures of your grill, and lots of you outside today, and glad you're in a place where you can be outside and enjoying our call. 3-0 pitch. That's high, ball 4. So a single by Pache, a walk to Brito, and now Fergus up to the plate.
The right fielder, number 89, Cade Fergus.
All right, Cade Fergus. He's climbing in. Now a quick visit to the mound. Tolvey running out there, and Jimenez can't figure out pitch comm device.
You think Fergus has ever tossed a caber? Fergus being a strong Scottish name.
Mm-hmm. His ancestors may have.
We were talking yesterday about Dunedin being a very strong Scottish heritage area and having the Scottish Highland Games every summer.
Which you saw an advertisement for when we left the stadium yesterday.
I did, on the side of a bus or a trolley.
Pitch on the way to Fergus. That's in for a called strike. And in those games, they have obviously multiple games, and one of them was the caber toss, right?
Caber toss, yeah. 16 to 20 feet long, about 80 pounds heavy, and you got to flip that bad boy at 12 o'clock.
Well, 1 is low, 1 ball and 1 strike.
While wearing a kilt. So you got to flip this 80-pound pole.
If you can do it, you look awesome.
And staying proper,
yeah,
so your kilt doesn't fly up.
Make sure you wear the long one. Here's a 1-1 pitch. There's a called strike. On a strike on Cade Fergus. Braves leading thanks to the 2-run homer in the 6th inning from Orlando Arcia. 1-1 is low. 2 balls and a strike. Seeing lots of the regulars on the mound today for the Braves. Chris Sale started the ball game with 2 2/3 scoreless. Other regulars, we've seen Bummer. We've seen Mentor, Johnson, now Jimenez. Also, Daysball Hernandez mix in there. 2-1 pitch across for a call. Actually, a 2-2 pitch across for a called 3rd strike. 1 down after the strikeout versus Fergus. One down for the first time. Baron Radcliffe is coming up to the plate. He'll take a ball outside. Saw Baron Radcliffe take over in left field an inning ago. He'll take a strike on the inside corner. Baron Radcliffe, obviously playing for the Phillies, but you go back to his senior year at Norcross, as he's an Atlanta kid. He was a standout football player. He'd committed to Georgia Tech. Here's a 1-1 pitch, and he swings and misses. Make it 1-2. And his dad, Vic Radcliffe, former pro player. Waiting on the 1-2 pitch from Joe Jimenez. 1-2 to Baron Radcliffe. Look out. He turns on that and sends a rocket into the screen.
If you didn't tell me that was Baron Radcliffe, I would when he's standing in the box, I can't help but think of Ryan Howard. He's got a big left-handed batter, hands up high, very similar stance.
1-2 pitch. It's swung on and fouled off and goes to the backstop. Well, and it's not just the stance. When he climbs in, he puts that bat in his right hand. He's a left-handed hitter and extends that arm towards the pitcher like Howard used to do.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly like that, pointing that bat at the pitcher. That's a very similar look to Ryan Howard. Jimenez is 1-2. Ripped foul down the right field line and into the screen for a foul ball. Yeah, Barron Radcliffe was a quarterback at Norcross High School, and he had offers all over the place. He was a standout quarterback, so obviously a really good arm. Well, the Phillies able to grab him. Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Radcliffe, low and inside.
The NFL Combine's happening right now. Saw some highlights of that.
Did you see the receiver from Texas who ran a 4.21?
Ridiculous.
That is silly.
I don't know if I could do that on a scooter.
2-2 pitch got him swinging. Joe Jimenez with a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, able to get Barron Radcliffe.
First base on number 94, Bryce Ball.
Yeah, nice job there of climbing the ladder. He was fouling off a couple low sliders, and Joe said, I've had enough of this. I'm going up with my plus heater and sneak it right by him.
Bryce Ball takes a called strike. Big left-handed hitter. You might remember Bryce. He was in the Braves organization, former 24th round choice of the Braves in 2019. 6'4", 240, Bryce Ball. Out of Dallas Baptist. He waves and misses there. 0-2. And now Joe Jimenez needs one more good pitch to get out of the inning. Braves leading 3-2. We're in the top of the 8th. Phillies threatening with runners at first and second. But Jimenez struck out Fergus, then struck out Radcliffe. 0-2 on the way to Bryce Ball. And he gets him looking. Beautiful pitch. Ball couldn't believe it. But Bryce Ball's got a huge strike zone as he stands up there at 6'4", and Jimenez just squeezed it in there. So he gets 3 straight strikeouts after the single, then the walk. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning, still 3-2 Braves.
For the Phillies, Carlos Francisco, right-hander, 24 years old, out of Bayamon, Puerto Rico, pitched in High A and Double A last year for the Phillies.
Greeted by Phillip Evans. Phillip takes first pitch strike. How about the defensive play that Phillip Evans made in the ball game yesterday?
I wish we had more time to talk about that because that was spectacular.
One of the best defensive plays of the spring for anybody. A 1 in for a strike. He was at third base yesterday to end the game. And there's a hot shot down to the hot corner. And he went to his right, backhanded it, did a jump throw from foul ground, and got it all the way to first base in time to get the out and in the ball game. There's ball low and outside.
Yeah, that was a heck of a play. You know, Toronto was threatening there, and to be able to shut that down. I mean, he was well past the foul line.
1-2 to Evans. Ground ball out to third. Vacuumed up by Esteban Quiroz. His throw across in time. One out here in the Braves' eighth inning. You know, before Evans goes back to the dugout, just want to throw some bouquets his way. He's played some first base, some third base. We've seen him late in ball games, and he's not only played great defense, but some good ABs as well. So it's been fun to watch him. Here is Gerardo Quintero, batting for the spot vacated by Marcelo Zuna. Braves leading 3-2. There's a ball high. Quintero, it'll be Workinger against the right-hander Francisco. Here's the 1-0 pitch. A little low and outside. Looking ahead to the top of the ninth, Braves have had Jonathan Hughes up and tossing in the bullpen, but whomever comes on will see 2, 3, and 4 in the Phillies order. That's Gallagher, Kroon, and Quiroz. 2-0. That'll be sucked out to short, leap up into the air, and bringing it down, Eric Brito. Nice play by their shortstop, Brito, leaving his feet, bringing it down, and 2 down here in the eighth inning. 3 runs, 4 hits, 1 error for the Braves, including a 2-run homer by Orlando Arcia. That gave the Braves the lead in the 6th inning. Phillies have 2 runs on 8 hits, no errors. They have not gone deep. Pitch on the way to Workinger. Front door curveball misses up and in.
Yeah, nice at bat by Jared Kelenic to get on base for Arcia's big fly.
Righty-righty matchup. Workinger takes the ball inside. Count to 2 balls and no strikes. Let's see. We've got you for what, 2 more days on this first trip for you down to spring training?
That's correct.
And then you'll be with us again towards the end. There's a 2-0 pitch. That is low.
Man, I got to get home and check on my garden. Oh, and my kids.
That too, huh?
In retirement, I've started gardening a little bit, growing some vegetables, and never thought it was a hobby I'd get into, but I enjoy it now.
I mean, retirement, you never know what you're going to discover in retirement.
How old do I sound?
Chop foul off the plate, 3-1.
Yeah, last video I got from my wife about an hour ago, my 2 boys, aged 6 and almost 4, were whacking golf balls at the chickens. We have some backyard chickens that we get eggs from, and they thought it'd be funny to go hit some golf balls at them.
3-1 pitch. That'll be inside for ball 4. I can't imagine that the chickens had a chance.
Chickens aren't particularly smart, so they didn't seem to care. Luckily, my German Short-haired Pointer, my dog, was defending the chickens and trying to catch the real golf balls in his mouth. So hopefully he doesn't need any dental work.
What a champ. There's Luke Waddell. 3-2 Braves, bottom of the 8th. There's a ground ball up the middle. May find a hole. It will. Face it into right center field. Coming around second, heading for third, Ethan Workinger. And a base hit for Luke Waddell. Worm burner right up the middle. So a little bit of insurance down at third base. And it'll be up to Cade Kern, who took over in right field an inning ago. K-E-R-N, Cade Kern. First and third for the Braves, 2 down. Yeah, tomorrow the Braves will be taking on the Twins as we'll head down to Fort Myers. That'll be A.J. Smith-Shawver versus Pablo Lopez. Cade Kern takes a breaking ball in the inside corner. So tomorrow, 105. A.J. Smith-Shawver and the Braves versus Pablo Lopez and the Twins. And then Tuesday, we'll see the Tigers come here. That'll be a 105 ball game as well. 0-1. Big swing and a miss by Kern. Then we'll have an off day Wednesday. One of the 2 off days we have this spring. Then we'll see Joe Simpson again coming back for his second tour of duty. We'll see the Red Sox, Pirates, Orioles, and Yankees through the end of the week and into the weekend. Pitch missed inside to Kern, 1-2. Right-hander Francisco, at least against the right-handed hitters, loves that front door curveball. See if he tries to go back there. 1-2 for Cade Kern. Pitch to the plate. He swings and skies one to right field. Should be a can of corn for Cade Fergus. Trotting in, sunglasses on, makes the catch. And that ends the bottom of the 8th, and 1 run will have to be enough for the Braves. For Atlanta in the bottom of the 8th, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. We head to the 9th. Braves 3, Phillies 2. Into the top of the 9th, Braves leading the Phillies 3-2. And the new Braves pitcher is right-hander Jonathan Hughes, 6'2", 196 pounds, out of Flowery Branch. Went to Georgia Tech. And he's on here to try to finish it up. This will be his second appearance of the spring. Went 2/3 of an inning earlier this spring. Had 1 walk, couple of strikeouts. First pitch is low and outside as he faces Cam Gallagher. It'll be Gallagher, Kroon, and Quiroz, 2, 3, and 4 in the Phillies order here in the top of the 9th inning. 1-0 from Hughes. Low and outside, big sweeping breaking ball. And a 2-0 count.
Jonathan Hughes played on the USA 14 and under national team. He's from the Atlanta area. I wonder if he played at East Cobb or one of those organizations.
2-0. Able to change speeds there. Dial it back up a little bit. Get a swing and a miss. 2-1. Trying to battle back versus Gallagher. 2-1 pitch. Another swing and a miss. Couple of good fastballs that time from Jonathan Hughes. Hughes was in Rome last year. Pitch on the way, chopped up the third base line. That'll be a foul ball. Third base umpire Jeremy Rehack throwing up his hands.
Hughes is showing a nice late cutter here. He's a cutter slider guy. I think he uses that cutter as his fastball. It's got some good late action to it.
Back to the plate for Gallagher. It's a nice play by David Fletcher over there at third base. It was just outside the line on that final bounce. He finished the play just in case, but Jeremy Rehack down there throwing up the arms and saying foul ball. 2-2 pitch. Way outside, 3-2. For Hughes, he's coming over from the Phillies organization. Last year, his first year in a Braves uniform, at least in the Braves organization. This was with the Phillies the 2 years prior. 3-2 pitch, got him swinging. Beautiful pitch. Lots of tilt on that one.
Yeah, that was that cutter again, perfectly placed down and away to a righty. Yeah, the beauty of a cutter, that the pitch made most famous by Mariano Rivera, Hall of Fame Yankees closer, is that a good cutter doesn't break until the last few feet before the plate. So the human eye was actually unable to perceive the movement on Mariano's cutter.
Matt Kroon takes a ball outside.
Because it happened in the last 10 feet of its flight to the plate. So when you were hitting off Mariano, you were kind of guessing where the ball was going to end up.
1-0 low and outside, which makes sense when you think about all the bats that he broke, especially against left-handed hitters.
And then, halfway through his career, he adds a sinker as if it weren't hard enough to hit him. Even though you know what's coming, he had such elite command, too.
2-0 fouled off onto the rooftop down the first base line.
But I read an article on it explaining that, and it made sense after watching him all those years. You talk to hitters, and if you tell a big league hitter what's coming, usually they have pretty good success, but his ball was just so sudden and late.
2-1 up and in, 3-1.
And his cutter still lives on. There's like you hear of coaching trees in college football or NFL football. David Robertson, Phillies reliever.
3-1 inside, ball 4.
When he was young, was Mariano's setup man, and he taught him his cutter, and I'm sure David's taught that cutter to other people. It's kind of cool how it gets passed down from veteran to young guy, in the game of baseball.
I'd love to know how Mariano came about that pitch himself, because and with a pitch like that, obviously you learn how to throw it, but there's also the anatomy of a guy's hand that comes into play. There's ball inside.
Yeah.
And sometimes throwing that pitch will just look differently out of one guy's hands compared to the next 9 guys who throw it.
Yeah.
3-2 Braves, top of the 9th. 1-0 to Quiroz. Line drive fouled on the right field line.
And when I hear cutter, I think of Mariano, and I think of Kenley Jansen.
Mm-hmm.
You ask Kenley how he learned to throw it, and it's just, that's how it came out. Like you said, his anatomy, the way
natural cut,
the way he holds his hand, just produced a kind of like fell into a nasty, nasty pitch.
Swing and a miss there, 1-2.
Another guy, Zach Britton, known for his sinker. I know the story of that. The coach was trying to teach him a cutter, so he held a cutter grip and threw it, and the bottom just fell out of it.
So he was trying to throw a cutter, but ended up being a sinker.
And like Mariano, hitters knew it was coming, and they still couldn't hit it, but it was all an accident. It was based on his anatomy. He had little short T-Rex arms. He could barely get the change at the bottom of his pocket, but it produced a sinker from a cutter grip, and he threw that his whole career.
2-2 pitch, poked out to first. That does a tightrope walk down the line. Picking it up, stepping on first is Evans. He guns to second, and that's a game-ending double play. How about that play?
That's that cutter.
Got right in there on his hands, and that one went right down the chalk line perfectly to Evans, stepped on the bag, and they gunned down there to get the incoming Matt Kroon. And that ends the game. And the Braves find themselves in the win column with a 3-2 win over the Phillies. For the Phillies in the 9th, no runs, no hits, no errors, none left. Final score, Braves 3, Phillies 2. Back with the totals after this.